Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you ever wondered what exactly goes into a modern digital sales pitch? Today, we're going to tear one down, piece by piece, and really show you the powerful persuasion techniques working just beneath the surface.
Right out of the gate, the pitch just leads with this huge, emotionally charged headline. We're not talking about ingredients or data just yet. This is all about a core, fundamental human desire. The goal here is simple. Grab your attention immediately by promising a powerful, powerful outcome.
And then, right away, the page sets up this emotional battlefield. On one side, you've got these relatable fears pulled from testimonials, things like being self-conscious or just feeling the effects of aging. And on the other side, the product's ultimate promises. It's this contrast that creates a really compelling story of transformation.
Okay, so after all those bold claims, you're probably thinking, why should I believe any of this? And that's exactly where the page pivots. It starts to systematically build up layers of trust and authority.
First up, we meet Ethan Cox, the creator. See, this isn't some faceless corporation. It's a person. Giving the product a human face, a name, it creates a sense of personal investment, you know? It makes the whole thing just feel more genuine.
Next, it adds what feels like a layer of institutional trust. By dropping phrases like domestic manufacturing and FDA-registered and GMP-certified facility, it's borrowing authority from these official-sounding standards. It suggests quality. It suggests safety, even if, and this is a really key point, the product itself isn't actually FDA-approved.
And this right here, this is a classic. And it's a super effective technique called social proof. The testimonials they use aren't just random people. They are very specific archetypes. You have the respectable retired officer, the successful professional, and the relatable everyman. The message is pretty clear. This product works for people you already trust, for people who are probably a lot like you.
And this is really the emotional peak of that whole social proof strategy. It's not a mild endorsement, right? It's an absolute sweeping statement from Chad B., the guy who supposedly conquered his fears. That phrase, transformed everything, is designed to be the ultimate life-changing proof.
All right, so at this point, if you're a potential customer, you're probably emotionally engaged, and you're maybe starting to trust the source. The next crucial step is for them to give you a logical, scientific reason for why this thing actually works.
So the page lays out this very specific list of 8 pure plant ingredients and natural minerals, and each one is neatly connected to a direct positive benefit. This specificity makes the whole formula feel researched and deliberate. It feels effective. It moves the product from being just a vague promise to a tangible solution.
Then, the results are framed not as some instant miracle, but as this predictable, multi-stage journey. Now, this is really clever. It manages your expectations while at the same time encouraging you to buy a larger supply. Because you've got to get to that all-important stage 3, right? That's where the improvements get locked in.
Okay, so the page has made its emotional case, it's made its logical case. Now it's time to pivot from the why you should want this to the how you can get it. It does this by building an offer that just feels too good to pass up.
Now, what's really interesting here is the visual pricing psychology at play. That single bottle price, $69 on the left, that acts as a powerful anchor. It makes the 6-bottle price of $49 a bottle seem like a massive discount. And you can see how the chart visually pushes your eye over to the best value option, framing it as the only logical choice.
And to really reinforce the deal, the savings are presented as this huge, concrete number, $780. This taps into a powerful psychological trigger our brains have. We tend to feel the pain of losing something way more than the pleasure of gaining something. So, by focusing on what you're saving, the pitch makes you feel like you'd actually be losing money if you didn't take the deal.
And if the discount wasn't quite enough, they use a technique called value stacking. They just pile on these free ebooks and free shipping on top of the main offer. These bonuses crank up the perceived value of the whole deal without really costing the seller much, making it seem even more irresistible.
Finally, for anyone who might still be hesitating, they remove the very last barrier to purchase with a classic risk reversal move. A 100% money-back guarantee makes the decision feel completely safe. The financial risk is, at least in theory, totally gone for the buyer.
All right, now for what might be the most crucial part of any sales pitch, the text that almost everybody scrolls right past. Let's take a closer look at the fine print way down at the bottom of the page.
And this just perfectly illustrates the tension in all of marketing, doesn't it? The headline screams, real-life changing results, while that legally required asterisk quietly whispers the crucial context. Your individual results are not guaranteed, and they're going to vary.
So remember those social proof archetypes, Mark, Thomas, and Chad? Well, this disclaimer adds some really important context. It says that while the stories might be based on real experiences, the names and other identifying details have been changed. That's a pretty key detail to keep in mind when you're evaluating that real user's claim.
And there it is, the standard but absolutely critical FDA disclaimer for dietary supplements. So while the page mentioned an FDA-registered facility, this clarifies that the product's claims have not been evaluated or approved by the FDA. That is a fundamental distinction.
So, to kind of wrap it all up, what we've seen here is a deliberate and layered persuasion toolkit in action. It all starts with that emotional hook, then it builds authority and social proof, offers up a scientific-sounding reason to believe, and closes with an irresistible, risk-free offer. It's really a masterclass in marketing architecture.
But you know, the real takeaway here isn't about this one specific product. It's that these powerful techniques, from emotional storytelling to value stacking and reversing the risk, they're absolutely everywhere online. The real question is, now that you can see the architecture, what other pitches will you start to see in a whole new light?